everybody, it's Dave with Ferrous Furniture. Today we are showcasing a custom one-of-a-kind welding table slash workbench that I built pretty much from scratch. This one's pretty unique though. I've never seen one like it. I've never built one like it. This is actually built out of an old office desk. It's all steel that I painted. Now obviously I've done a few more modifications other than just paint. Everything you see here, with the exception of those two saws and maybe some of the hand tools in the drawer, everything else you see here comes with the table. Now for starters, the tabletop, because I know that's important to people. This is 3/8 plate steel. It's super clean. I didn't put any kind of finish on it though. I just cleaned it really well. You can see it's a little dusty just from sitting in the garage, but cleaned all the oil off of it and everything. I didn't take it down to like, shiny steel. I just left, the mill finish on it. I did that just because I don't really have a real good way of making it perfectly flat. This piece came to me already, pretty much perfectly flat, good enough for a welding table anyway. So what I did was, along the back edge, and yes, this is actually the back, I reinforced it with some angle iron, which brings the thickness to a little more than 1/2 inch. Reinforced all the legs with 1/4 inch angle iron. As you can see here, let's see, this is a good place to show you. This little spot right here is actually the leg on the desk, and it's been welded and reinforced to this kind of 1/4 inch angle iron exoskeleton, if you will. It's all, every piece of steel here you see is at least 1/4 inch thick, and I did that mainly for weight, because you want a good sturdy heavy table to be welding on and banging on and sawing on and whatever. So then the desk, everything on the desk is still fully functional. These drawers have been painted on the outside, not on the inside. They're just left with the original olive green finish. This desk actually came from an old military office. The nameplate on it, you can't really see the engraving anymore, but there's 2 ID tags. There's one there, and there's one inside one of the drawers, I believe. But anyway, all the drawers still work, so you can see that's where I keep all the cutting stuff. This big double drawer, that's where I keep all the drill bits. The drill bits are gonna go. I got these at an auction. They're all new or newly resharpened. Really good quality drill bits. I mean, this is probably, I don't know, this is probably like a 40-pound box of drill bits, and it's probably worth $1,000. However, I don't know, I can't really see myself ever needing this many drill bits, and I don't have a drill press big enough to handle these kind of shanks. This drill bit right here is probably $100 or so, but that's not what this video is about. Those will come with the desk though, or the table. This drawer, let's see what's in here. Welding supplies with a little impact screwdriver. Those are always handy. And then you've got more welder supplies. You've got your gas line for your argon gas, your little regulator. New tips, new contact tips, nozzle for running gas. I've only ever run flux core with this wire welder. Got some weld clean in there, a little spool of solid core wire. That drawer's empty. Yeah, it's empty. The shelf that the welder goes on is actually a piece of floor grate, and the reason I did that was, again, for weight, but also for ease of cleaning, because any junk that falls on it is just going to fall right through it, so you don't have a solid sheet of steel there to try and keep clean all the time. The casters, those are some serious casters. I mean, the whole thing from floor to, from here to here is just a little over 15 inches. So what I actually did was I cut the legs off of the desk so that with the addition of the casters and the little space, and then, you know, this measures 40 inches, which is perfect for a shop stool, but we'll get to that later. So then basically what you've got is 1/4 inch angle running the length of it for kind of the axle, I guess you could call it. You've got swivel casters on this end, solid state casters on that end. The whole thing, let's see, it measures 5 foot this way, 4.5 foot this way, and about 3.5 foot tall. And I've added these little shelves on the end. These are actually 3/8 angle, 6 inch by 6 inch, 3/8 angle, 30 inches long with these little rebar rails. I did rails instead of a solid wall, again, for ease of cleaning. You can just take your little air gun and spray those off. They work really great for setting, you know, just tools on as you're using them. Plus they look pretty nice, you know. And then the other side, a little less complicated on this side, but same thing. You've got that shelf, and everything's welded together. I mean, this thing is solid, and it honestly probably weighs, with all the tools and, you know, the big new vise and the welder and everything, it probably weighs about 1,300 pounds. But you want that. You want the good, solid, heavy weight to it. You know, you don't want one of those cheap, flimsy sheet metal welding tables, you know, that you can buy out of magazines for 80 bucks or whatever, because you're going to be knocking those things all over the place. So we've got some 3/8 2-inch flat stock running the length of the edges just for rigidity, because there is a pretty significant overhang on the one side. We've got some hooks welded to that, just to, you know, right now you can hang whatever you want from it, but right now I've got my my welding gun hanging from it. Brand new, never been used. It's a Master Force vise, and it's actually a 6-inch wide jaw, and I want to say the opening, it's a reversible jaw vise, so the opening this way goes out to just about 7 inches, I think, and then you can spin the whole thing around, put the jaw in this way, and you actually get like a 9.5 inch opening. That's going with the table. It's staying bolted right there, because it's just easier that way. And then, oh yeah, we've also got these little trays that still pull out. They're still functional. A little bit of sawdust on that. Not sure why. Everything works good on this desk, and I mean, it's probably 60 years old. This center drawer, I don't think I showed you guys this. It's pretty neat. It's got these little compartments in it for just keeping, you know, whatever you want. I've just got all my punches and chisels and just random stuff in here. Oh, and there's also an original key with it, and it does lock. Let's see if I can do this through the camera screen here. Maybe. Yep. Yeah, see? So it still locks. And this desk is pretty neat. You know, this would be cool to take to your job site. You know, if you work in a machine shop or a welding shop or whatever, this would be great to take with you, because again, it's on wheels. You can wheel it around from job to job. The whole thing, you know, the old desks, you keep the center drawer closed, and then all the rest of these are locked in place. And then you only have one drawer to worry about locking. And let's see if I can do that. I might not have it pushed in far enough. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So now that drawer's locked, and all the rest of them are locked. Just to kind of show you here, they're all locked. What's nice about this is you can't lock your keys in it, and you can lock it up at the end of the day. Just take your key with you, and all your tools and everything are safe and secure inside there. So, you know, it's nice. This elaborate contraption here, I did more of just a conversation piece, to be honest with you. These were things that I got secondhand. and I found a way to reclaim most of them. These feet right here, I should mention this conversation piece is actually the brake for the table. It's what keeps it from rolling around. These feet right here are about 8-inch circles. They are cast steel, I believe, and you can't really tell because I painted them, but this disc, this little raised disc, as well as the one on the other side, are kind of an embedded ceramic coating, what you'd find on a brake pad, because that's what these were. These were brake rotors off of a big machine. I'm guessing some kind of lathe brake or something. But I got 2 of them, and they work really well as feet because that ceramic coating underneath really grips the floor well. Nice big pneumatic cylinder right here that actuates the whole thing. That's been rebuilt, all new seals and O-rings inside, and that is painted gold along with everything else on this. The scheme is gold and black, and you know, I wasn't sure about it, but I think it really turned out cool. And I'll show you the way this works in a minute. It does have its own onboard compressor right there. The compressor is, oh gosh, 2 years old, I think. It's only got a couple hours of runtime on it because I tore it apart as soon as I bought it. This was one of those like little air nailer pancake tank air compressors, and I just wanted the tank for something, so I had this compressor head laying around, and I modified it a little bit, and that's what runs this pneumatic cylinder. It's a spring, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. The welder I got on here is an Eastwood 135, MIG 135. It's a true MIG. You can use your inert gas or flux core wire. We've got a heavy duty 25 amp outlet on the underside, which is dedicated just to the welder and the air compressor. And then run off of that, you've got 2 other smaller tool outlets, all gold plated, of course. 4 outlets on that side. They're tamper proof. You can see the little plastic tabs in there. Those are nice because you don't have to worry about steel brush bristles falling into them or anything, or dirt getting in there. We've got one over here on the vise side as well, right here, and they do all work. So then the cross tubes down here are 1/4 inch 3x3 square tubing. That's what these pieces are here. And then just for added weight and aesthetics, really, we capped off the mounting plate on these casters. We kind of capped them off with these little trim pieces, and I say little trim pieces, but they're actually 1/4 inch 1.5 by 1.5 angle, and then welded these 1/4 inch plates on all 4 corners, cross drilled some holes through them, you know, so if you ever need to load this thing into a trailer or up onto a flatbed or whatever, you got some spots for chains. It rolls really easily, which makes the brakes very important. These casters are fully serviceable. These bolt heads are welded in place, however, the casters are not welded in place. The nuts are removable from the underside and the whole caster will come out. These are, looks like 5/16 steel, just the wheel spindles, I guess you call them. And I don't know if you can really see in there, but there's a Zerk fitting. Yeah, you can see that little glob of grease right there. They've already been serviced. The casters are new old stock. They're probably 30-year-old casters, but they've never been used until now. And the swivel casters, there's actually a bearing up underneath that's serviceable as well with a Zerk fitting. And those have all been filled with grease, and they all work just fine. So I think, you know, and I'm not going to really get into the welder too much. You can go ahead and look that up online if you want. It's brand new. It's only got a couple hours of runtime on it, if that. In fact, most of this project was built with my old welder, and it burned up, and I had about 10 inches to go here and just a few little doodads to finish up. Welded on the electrical boxes and that. So that welder's pretty much brand new. But I needed to buy it or I couldn't finish this project. So, boy, This vise is nice though. I gotta say, I really like this vise. It's not a Wilton, but you know what? It works, and it works well. And it's super heavy duty, fully enclosed thread on it, so you know you don't have to worry about chips getting into your thread or any of that. It's got pipe jaws on it as well. 2 handles for the rotation lock, which is always nice. This overhang is, let's see, how wide is that overhang? I want to say it's 13 inches over. Now you've got an immediate edge, which is nice for clamping things, but then you've also got no obstructions underneath to be able to reach in with some long C-clamps. Well, you do have the bolts from the vise, but other than that, you've got about 4 feet of unobstructed clamping space. The whole table's grounded. As you can see right here, this grounding clamp from the welder, it is hooked to a solid 3/4 by 3/4 copper bar. And the reason I did that was, well, simply I just have the copper laying around. Put in some 5/16 brass bolts, countersunk the heads, so it's all pretty well flush. Those are tapped right into the edge of the table. As you can see, there's no nuts because I wanted a good purchase there. The whole table's grounded. It works really well, and that grounding clamp just sits right there. Really heavy-duty design. It's just the little things like that that really make the difference, make your job easier. So with that said, we will stop and take a look at that brake now, because that's really the conversation piece of this whole thing. And the way it works is, as you can see right now, I should probably actually set the camera down. Okay, so the way it works is, as you can see, you can't move this table at all, no matter how hard you shake it. What you do is, if you want to release the brake, turn that power switch off, and it just goes to the compressor, and then you hit this button. The table comes up, the legs come up because they're spring-loaded, and then you can very easily, very light touch, move this table anywhere you want it to go. And then to engage the brakes again, you just get the table where you want it and flip that switch. And that's it. And it's solid. And that compressor has a switch in it that shuts it off at 110 pounds, which is just enough to really stamp this thing down onto the ground without lifting the thing up, because that setup right there is plenty capable of lifting that end of the table up. But I wanted to keep it level, so I dialed it in with a regulator, figured out what pressure I needed, and actually ordered the pressure switch for that pressure. And around 130 will lift it up off the ground, and around 80 will be a little too loose. So I went with 110. It works perfect every time. It won't move on you. I was actually standing on this, walking around on it to plug it in, because I've got it plugged in right now into the ceiling. Oh, which is another nice feature. It's got a 16-foot whip on it, because I hate short cords, so I was sure to put a 16-foot 10-gauge 3-wire, so it's fully grounded, more than capable of handling a welder. You can see that, you know, that's about as thick as my finger. And it's also got a GFCI plug on it, just like you'd find on a fridge or an air conditioner or something. So it's just, you know, in my opinion, it's beautiful. And it'd be great for a TIG welder, because this height, as well as the overhang length, it is perfect for a shop stool. I've got a stool right here. I'll show you. Okay, so I got my stool set up, and as you can see, it is just perfect. My elbows rest comfortably on it, my legs go plenty far enough under it, and if you were a TIG welder, you know, you could very easily get some stuff done on this. Welder's right here, right at your disposal, you know, for easy adjustments. Your ground clamps right here. What can I say? I love it. I built it for me, but I want to sell it. I want to just see what kind of bites I can get on it. So thanks for checking it out, and if you're the proud owner of this, you will not be disappointed.